Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Daniel. Daniel, thank you for opening us up today with the perfect personal story of how national service launched your public service journey, transformed the arc of your career, and helped sustain this remarkable and important community center. And Kathy, thank you for helping us understand how AmeriCorps helps bring together different resources. I'll just take a moment up top. What is AmeriCorps? It is a 30-year-old national service program that is federally funded and federally structured and supported, but locally led, locally adapted, that brings together nonprofits at the grassroots level, individuals willing to spend a year or two of their lives serving our communities, nonprofits that have needs, and volunteers from our community. It is a great model that has long enjoyed strong bipartisan support from nonprofits, from mayors, from governors, from senators, until just a few weeks ago when DOGE and Elon Musk showed up at AmeriCorps headquarters. They thought surely this organization, with decades of strong bipartisan support, would survive. Senator Cassidy, a Republican from Louisiana, didn't just call and say, wait a minute, but sent his own staff to sit in the room and say, what is it you're planning to do here? Well, within a few days, the answer came out: lay off 85% of the national staff. And then a few weeks later, with a sickening thud, cuts to $400 million worth of AmeriCorps grants all over our country began hitting all over our country. NCCC, which responds to natural disasters, were fired and told to go home in the middle of their service year. AmeriCorps Vista, the AmeriCorps state and local, programs administered here in Delaware and all over the country took devastating cuts. And what's next on the horizon? President Trump's proposed budget, which just came to Congress last week, says he will eliminate AmeriCorps completely. Let me just start by saying thank you to everybody who's here to say this is a terrible idea. Out of many awful things that DOGE has done to tear up and destroy long-standing, respected federal agencies that do good work, this one hits particularly close to home. It was 30 years ago when I worked for the National I Have a Dream Foundation that I helped launch one of the very first national AmeriCorps programs, along with public allies, Teach for America, City Year, Habitat for Humanity. There were a dozen promising, bright, new national programs that brought together nationally known nonprofits like Boys and Girls Club and AmeriCorps members willing to dedicate a year or two of their lives to recruiting volunteers, to making our community safer and stronger, and to making a lasting difference. Millions of Americans have gotten the start to their public service career, have earned money for college, have recruited others to volunteer, have made a lasting difference for nonprofits as a result of their time leading and serving in these organizations. I cannot tell you how angry I am at this particular cut that cuts so deeply at the very heart of what it means to be an American. Because our country has always outstripped literally every other country in volunteerism. Being willing to reach out and help our neighbors, seeing our neighbors as something more than just those few who speak the same language or from the same country or have the same faith or look like us. Americans have always not waited for government to solve problems, but reached out as volunteers and helped each other. The Food Bank of Delaware, Kathy, is one of the most effective ways that we help take from the resources of the abundance of our farmers and our commercial sector and donate to the families and children who need them most. And AmeriCorps members were helping the food bank with collecting and distributing this critical help. So the food bank just took a double hit. The cuts from the USDA emergency food deliveries that they were waiting for, and a reduction in the helping hands that AmeriCorps has long represented across so many organizations. This isn't about saving money or combating waste. A study done a few years ago proved that for every dollar invested in AmeriCorps, we got $17 back for our communities in skills, in careers, in reading, in combating opioid abuse, in supporting veterans, in building affordable housing, in combating hunger. AmeriCorps members have made an enormous difference. And DOGE just canceled the service of 113 of them here in Delaware. Tutors, first responders, lifelines for the vulnerable. Having had that early experience when I was, many years later, elected county executive, I helped launch an AmeriCorps program with our volunteer fire service that helped for years with recruitment and retention in Delaware's volunteer fire community. So where do we go from here? Well, thankfully, our Attorney General, Kathy Jennings, is standing up in court to say because there was a law passed by Congress, signed into law by the president, funding these programs, Elon Musk and DOGE don't get to just charge into the headquarters and order it all shut down. It actually violates the law. God willing, this case will lead to a restraining order just like 115 others. Someone came up to me at church on Sunday and said, "How does he keep doing this? Isn't it illegal?" I said, "Yes." And actually, in more than 100 cases, federal judges have said what Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and DOGE are doing violates the law, the Constitution, or both. So let's hope that the attorneys general from a dozen states who are litigating this succeed in stopping it and rolling it back. Let's be committed to ensuring that this incredible program doesn't just survive, but once again thrives. And I tell you, I will fight endlessly to prevent the collapse and the killing of AmeriCorps in this budget, in this Congress. We need to take a message back. My message to President Trump and Elon Musk is don't take America out of AmeriCorps. Don't cut the very heart of national service here at home. Don't hurt every city, county, state, and community in America. Reverse this brutal cut. As Bill Gates said memorably over the weekend, it's not a good look for the richest man on earth to be dedicating his time to cutting support and services for the very poorest and neediest children and families in our country and around the world. Let's stand up together and say no to AmeriCorps cuts, no to ending national service, and yes to sustaining this incredible commitment and this incredible investment in our country. Thank you.